ways of painting, I've decided that I will buy the Citadel spray can and paint all of them with it, which took me like 30 minutes maybe. So yeah, all I have to do now is to paint this guy with the rest of the colors, the rest of the layers. So let's begin, guys. The first layer that we are going to apply is the contrast, which is called Magus Purple. So we are going to cover like pretty much all of this little fella parts with it. I've seen that it's good to mix this contrast with some white color. I think there is this paint called technical white or something like that. So this gives you nice results. Unfortunately, I don't have this this paint, but I will just try to thin down this contrast a little bit. So first, let's give it a good shake. Okay, this should be enough. So what we are going to do, we will be applying the first layer of the contrast, which is called Magus Purple. Let's take a bit of paint on our wet palette. Let's thin it down and let's apply it on our Tyranid. So the contrast just needs to get into the, places that are a bit deeper into the miniature. Yeah, this part here will be covered in a Nagaroth night, which is like the first layer was the base color. Yeah, whatever. Let's apply the contrast. What I like about painting the Tyranids so far, I've painted only the Termagant one. But what I like about painting them is that it's overall, I think it's easier than painting the Space Marines, and it's a bit faster process. This is at least my opinion right now. So the opinion, keep in mind that the opinion is coming from an inexperienced painter. But yeah, so far I am enjoying the process. Yeah, so I find the Tyranids a bit easier to paint, and I think I enjoy more. Maybe because the Tyranids just don't require that skill or, the level of detail than the Space Marine. But yeah, I'm not sure, to be honest. But let me know in the comments. Okay, think this side is like almost there. As you can see here. It's nice because you can just, quickly cover it with contrast. So it's sort of like speed painting, I believe, where you have the contrast paints and you can just quickly apply layers. Alright, let's move it to the other side. Alright, I think it's going well so far. Not sure if I should also dry brush it afterwards with some white color. Maybe I will do it. Not sure if I have my dry brush somewhere around. Forgot to prepare it for this session. Okay, so the tail as well. There are some hard to reach spots, but since they are also hard to see, so you don't have to apply a lot of details there, so that's fine. next step would be to dry brush it with the Corax White. So let's give it a good shake. All right. So I will use this brush to dry brush this guy. So with dry brushing, you just have to pick some paint on your brush and then like try to remove this paint into the paper towel as much as possible, so only like a little bit of paint is left there, and then with only the edges of your brush you have to do this swift moves to apply paint just on the edges of your miniature, which leaves a nice effect on your miniature. Definitely you don't want to overdo it, so we have to be careful. This side I think looks pretty good. Now let's move to the other side. Alright, we are almost there. Just a little bit more. Okay, I think this should be it. Looks pretty nice. We've highlighted the areas that are, standing out of the miniature the most, and in the deeper areas we can see the contrast, which is this should be fine. Let's close the bottles, otherwise we may spill some paint. So now we will be using this base Nagarite, so let's give it a good shake. Alright. Very nice, deep purple color. I really like it. Alright. We have to thin the paint a little bit. Alright, let's apply the first layer of the armor. So this is where we have to start be more gorgeous when painting. We will have to apply like 2 or maybe even 3 layers to cover the base red bone color. Said, this is the part where you have to be careful, otherwise, yeah, you may be forced to fix a few things, but so far I think it's going well for me. have to fix it. I may have to apply a few fixes later on, but okay, no problem. I will apply a bit thicker layers to it, so it covers better the underneath base color. This takes time to cover all of it and cover it well. But we will get there. Even if some lighter color is visible, then it could be a feature of this Tyranid Termagant armor, right? Of course it could be. Alright, now the armor on his head as well. Alright, so far so good. Alright, we will apply second layer later on, but first let it dry. Let's move to the other side. all for today. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to leave a like, subscribe,